So we're going to get right to it. We're going to start this evening with Lori Bada from Atlanta area. She is a health coach, and she is very excited about what arginine has done for her. Lori, you there?
I am.
Okay. Thanks so much for being on our call this evening. And so you actually knew about arginine some time ago. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, I had a mild heart attack about 3.5 years ago. And so I started getting rather serious about learning about heart health and so forth. I was just under an immense amount of stress. And I heard about arginine and that not just any amount would do, but there were actually therapeutic amounts of arginine that would be important for helping someone that was having cardiovascular issues. So I thought, well, that's the answer. Take arginine. And
right. Tell us about your experience taking that delicious arginine.
Well, it had been recommended that the best way to take arginine in a therapeutic amount of 5,000 milligrams or greater would be in a powdered formulation.
Right.
So I found a powdered formula, and I opened it up, and the smell was a bit much, but the taste was even worse. And my description is that it's a cross between dirty gym socks and fish you should have thrown out at least a week ago. I tried taking it. I knew that I really needed to do something, but by day 4, I am such a taste person that I couldn't even bring myself to open the canister. So I sat down and I said, well, let's see, take arginine or die, and if it tastes like that, well, then I guess I know what my options are.
Well, we're very happy that you were able to find one that's palatable. And so you've been using about 10,000 milligrams of arginine, 10,000 IUs of vitamin D per day, and along with some other antioxidants in there, pomegranate and vitamin C and E and such. And so you actually mix yours up, and how do you take yours?
Well, I found that the best way for me is I make it in a large glass I can kind of carry around with me wherever I'm going for the day, and just stick a straw in it, and my goal is that sometime over a period of 6 to 8 hours to have it all gone. So whenever I think about it, I have a little.
Very good. That's a good deal. So that, in fact, that's been recommended in books like Dr. Gnarl's book, and also the arginine book. And it can be best to take it in separate doses, and maybe even all day like that is the way to go. It's worked for you. In fact, what were you experiencing prior to arginine, and how things worked out?
Well, starting sometime this last fall, I was beginning to experience a lot of pressure in my chest, especially the upper left part and under the collarbone. And I knew that wasn't necessarily a good thing. But after a few months of that, in December, early January, I was just having a lot of trouble thinking, carrying a thought through, and found that I was so exhausted by the end of the day. At 5 o'clock, I was ready to lay on the couch and go to sleep for the night. So not very productive.
Right. As a health coach, you gotta do some things, right?
Yeah.
So blood pressure what was going on with that?
Well, my blood pressure, I'll back up and just say my grandmother was diagnosed many, many years ago, and they called her blood pressure malignant because it was kind of all over the charts.
Okay.
And that's what I was seeing a lot with mine, although it wasn't uncommon for my blood pressure top number to read somewhere between 140 and 160, and my bottom number was running with regularity between anywhere from 95 up to 115.
Yeah, not good.
No.
So now that you've been using the arginine, things have been a lot more stable?
Yes. As a matter of fact, my readings typically in the morning are about 115 over sometimes as low as 67 or into the low 70s.
Right.
And it's staying pretty consistent in that range. I usually check it in the morning and check it again in the afternoon.
That is great. Well, I appreciate it, Laura. I'm glad that you were able to find something that you can get down as far as an arginine product, and you've been having the results that you've been having. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thanks for letting me be on the call.
Okay, now we are going to turn our attention to our friend in Texas, Linda Dieter. Linda, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I had to get you off mute. I didn't want to interfere, so I'm here.
Okay, well, we appreciate you being with us. And tell us a little bit about what has been going on with you. Again, prior to what was happening, finding out about arginine, what was going on with your blood pressure?
Well, basically, I didn't know that I had a problem, and what alerted me to it was, having a GPA test, which gave me a very bad score and told me that my cardiovascular system was approximately 80 years old when I was at 60 years old, which really got my attention. So it made me, you asked me today when I realized I was having blood pressure issues, and I realized that I started paying attention to it around that time, because prior to that, I had always had low blood pressure, and everybody used to joke about it, that it was low. And then all of a sudden now I have high, borderline high blood pressure. I wouldn't call it high, but what I was told is that, and I'm not an expert on blood pressure by any stretch of the imagination, but that it was around 138/87, which was considered, just on the verge there. And then, I was introduced to arginine, and of course, having the bad score, I wanted to take some immediate action and see what I could do. Similar to her story, run out and try to get what you can, but I've been on a great product for 5 months now, and I've been taking it faithfully 2 to 3 times a day with 5,000 milligrams or 5 grams per serving, and I am thrilled to report that I just had another test last week, and now my cardiovascular age is showing up as around 58, which is much more in line and makes me feel a lot better.
Right, absolutely. So you can understand then about how you didn't really have any symptoms to tell you, hey, my blood pressure is high. It's just that you were concerned based on other screenings that you had done, and so you went and checked it out. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And, in hindsight, this happens to a lot of people, I think, is, there were signs, different things that were going on. But, having turned 60, I was blaming everything on old age and not even considering the fact that I might have heart issues or high blood pressure or any of that kind of stuff. So, I think it is important that people listen to their body, and I'm be forever grateful that this all came about. But you're definitely right. I was just, ignoring everything. And
right.
Nothing serious, just ignoring it. So.
Right. So your screening's better. You've been doing 10 to 15,000 milligrams of arginine per day, along with the citrulline and vitamin C and D and pomegranate, grapeseed, grape skin extract, and those type of things. Now, so it was like 138/87. Now, what happens when you check your blood pressure?
Well, I recently had to go to the dentist, and which normally won't make you really nervous. It makes me very nervous. And, I was a little nervous when she was about ready to take my blood pressure. And she said, most people would kill to have your blood pressure. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, it was 121/82. And, from where I was, I thought that was pretty darn good. She said, quote, near perfect is what she told me. So, obviously, I was very, very thrilled about that. And I've also noticed, some other significant benefits because I'm paying attention. I'm sleeping much better. I've noticed that skin looks better. I mean, there's just a lot of things, energy, mental focus. Even my husband's noticed it. And one of the most important things that I think is true, this is something that I ignore that probably people should not ignore, and was leg cramps. Every night I had horrible leg cramps. I don't have leg cramps anymore.
Yeah, right. So that also has been shown to have benefits on that. intermittent claudication, I believe is the term that's used, that can be those type of symptoms. So that is good news, and those are side effects you can live with.
Yes, I can. I love those side effects.
Very good. Well, Linda, appreciate you sharing with us. That is an excellent story, and congratulations on your good results.
Well, thank you, and thank you very much for having me on the call.
Awesome. Thank you. So now I'm just going to share a little bit very quickly about Karen Vernado. She couldn't be on the call this evening. She wanted to be, but she just could not get on the call. But she's also in Texas, and she's had some great results using arginine, and she uses about 5,000 milligrams per day, along with 5,000 IUs of vitamin D and then the other nutrients that we've been talking about for sustaining those nitric oxide levels and to protecting those nitric oxide levels and making nitric oxide. And so she had been dealing with high blood pressure issues since her teens. And I'm not sure how old she is, but it's been a few years ago anyways. And so that was just something that she kind of dealt with all the time. And she started using the arginine, and now her blood pressure is normal. She's working out every day, and she's feeling good. As she says, I'm even taking Zumba, whatever that means. I guess that's a pretty strenuous deal. I've never done it myself, but it meant something to her that she's able to do those things even despite how she'd been feeling prior. So